Some of you might have heard about the conflict in Sudan on the news. Today I will explain the ongoing conflict in Sudan and as a national Bolshevik, how to approach this from the NASPO perspective. First of all, you must understand the key players in this conflict. The civil war is between two factions, the Sudanese armed force led by General Burhan and the paramilitary rapid support force led by General Mohammed Hamdan, also known as Hemeti. Historically, Hemeti's forces have been fighting alongside the Sudanese government, and his forces helped fight against the Darfur rebellion under al-Bashir's leadership. The West portrayed this military operation as a genocide. Hollywood filmmaker George Clooney notably perpetuated this image. This subsequently led to the International Criminal Court issuing an arrest warrant for al-Bashir. In 2019, the earlier mentioned military leader Burhan turned against al-Bashir, handing him over to the ICC court. This resulted in the military declaring a state of emergency and Burhan ruling Sudan. This instability gave the liberals a chance to enforce the demands. The military later promised to transition into a civilian government in 2021 and introduce democracy in 2022. However, in 2021, General Burhan revoked the civilian government by ousting Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok, citing the need to recertify the path of the transition. As expected, this triggered another wave of liberal protests. As a consequence, General Burhan again conceded to the liberals. Burhan promised to grant democracy to Sudan in 2 years, with one of the causes of the framework being the full integration of Hemeti's rapid support force into the Sudanese military, effectively making the RSF under the command of the Sudanese army. Hemeti claimed that Burhan had the intention to eliminate him. As a preemptive strike, Hamdan levied the rapid support force against the Sudanese army, led by General Burhan, to prevent the implementation of this atrocious agreement. So as a national Bolshevik, how should we approach this issue of Sudan? While Sudan might seem just like one of these African countries, the conflict in Sudan plays into the greater picture of international relations. While the Western media seem to depict this conflict of Sudan as a pointless war and call for peace, the neutral faces they present are far from the truth. It is reported that General Burhan, who leads the Sudanese army, is backed by the CIA with the goal of changing Sudan's foreign policy. Burhan has supported the Tigray against the Ethiopian in the Tigray War. He did so by fighting the multipolar-oriented Ethiopian government and captured the disputed Al-Fashaga area, a major supply route used by the Ethiopians. Furthermore, the general has also improved ties with US ally Israel. Finally, he is considered to be an ally of the Egyptians due to their shared hostility against the Ethiopians related to the water use of Nile. As a result, they turn a blind eye to any of his activities against the rapid support force. The Sudanese government traditionally supports a multipolar world. They historically either voted in favor of Russia or abstained from all UN votes related to Russia. However, this could very likely change under the rule of Burhan. It is likely that Burhan is supported by the CIA and the Egyptian government. Both of his coups generated backlash from the liberals in Sudan, and every time he would eventually agree and give more concessions to the liberals. It is likely that the reason behind General Burhan ousting the Prime Minister is due to not pushing liberalism in Sudan as fast as necessary. Burhan is laying a path to turn Sudan into a weak liberal state that supports American unipolar hegemony. It is likely that Burhan is supported by the Egyptians as well because Burhan is an Egyptian ally and a shared enemy of Ethiopia. In fact, as of right now, it is reported that the Egyptians are assisting the Sudanese army militarily in their war against the rapid support force. You could ask, why is Sudan so important to the Atlanticists and the Egyptians? This is because currently, the Americans do not have a very strong foothold in the strategic region of the Horn of Africa. Currently, Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Sudan all favors multipolarity, with them losing Saudi Arabia as an ally. The closest reliable ally they have in the region is Israel, and potentially Egypt in the future. Because Ethiopia made an alliance with Eritrea against the TPLF, They cannot try to sway either country to the western side. Sudan, however, under the leadership of Burhan, invaded the disputed territory with Ethiopia. This turned Sudan, whose leader Burhan is already friendly to the CIA, into the ideal country to sway over. While the Americans might dislike the Ethiopian over their support of Pan-Africanism and multipolarity, the Egyptians are enemy with Ethiopia over the dispute of the use of the Nile River. The Renaissance dam the Ethiopians are planning to build will disrupt Egyptian water supply. Sudan, as the country in the middle, is in the crosshair and is crucial to the outcome of this conflict. Therefore, it is also important for the Egyptians to have a government that is friendly to them in Sudan. While Egypt currently has a relatively balanced international outlook, with a shared enemy of Ethiopia which supports multipolarity, it will not be difficult for the American to draw the Egyptian to support the American foreign policy. It will also not be unthinkable for them to work with Israel, considering that they already recognize the state of Israel. To prevent Sudan from becoming a US liberal puppet in the Horn of Africa, countries that support a multipolar world, such as Russia, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Ethiopia, and Eritrea, have already pledged support for Hemeti. The Wagner Group has also started supporting the Rapid Support Force. In conclusion, as a national Bolshevik or someone who is against liberal hegemony and favors a multipolar world, we should support Hemeti's Rapid Support Force in the hopes that he will take over Sudan or have significant power in Sudan in some sort of power sharing agreement. Anyways, this is my first time making a serious video essay on this YouTube channel. This video is to test the water and see if you guys like this type of video. If you guys like it, I will make more video like this in the future. Please subscribe, like, and comment on this video to show support. Thank you.